Hey everyone, time to give a little update on this matter. For those who weren't following, there was a copyright strike on our account from the Cinema Snob episode on Second Glance. I did have like a 5-minute video explaining that, but I since took it down because the strike's been resolved. Spoiler alert. So that made that video kind of moot, but I should probably go ahead and put up something explaining the resolution and also where you could find certain videos and where to go from there. It's funny in the sense that I'm posting this video the same day that Hugo and Jake from the Bible Reloaded did post up a video on literally the same thing. Actually, I highly recommend watching their video on it. Theirs is honestly probably a lot more intricate than mine's gonna be. They went through a whole process that just sounds like a nightmare. So when I got the strike on Second Glance, I then took down the episodes on The Pretender and Crime of the Age, which are also films from the Cristiano Film Group. Those you can see on thecinemasnob.com and also on Channel Awesome too. They've been uploaded onto Screenwave. So I took them down to be safe, and I appealed it, of course, and there was a email address for their copyright guy. Whenever the strike came through, it listed his email address on there. So I wrote to him and explained that there was nothing wrong with the video. Like everything that was used within the guidelines of the kind of video it was. And guy was very nice, and the dude wrote me back, and it wasn't one of the Cristiano brothers, first and foremost. It's somebody who works for them, who I believe is like outsourced from Asia. So he and this guy and I talked back and forth a couple of times, and it didn't get mean or nasty or anything like that, but he wrote to me and said that if I completely removed Second Glance from YouTube, that the strike would be removed. Now, could I have fought this? Absolutely. But I did not have the energy. I did not have the energy, the patience. Maybe if I only uploaded videos a couple of times a month or something like that, I could have had the time and patience to go through something like this. But given that this is my job and how much I do upload and how much even going through this long process would affect the videos that I would release and whatever time span would be that this would go on, I just wanted it taken care of. But the benefit of this is that, or choosing this, is that I uploaded it onto Screenwave, so okay, it's still available for viewing, it's just not on YouTube. So I told him, I was like, alright, the video's been taken down, and if you want a more detailed conversation that somebody has had with this guy, like I highly recommend watching the Bible Reloaded's video on this same topic, because they did fight them, and kudos to them for doing that. Man, it was such a weird email. It was how much can I even say? Some of what my back and forth was with him was slightly similar to what it was with Bible Reloaded, except in my case it was short because I told him I'd take it down. But in the beginning, when it was in Hugo and Jake's case in the beginning, when it was pleasant enough. That's kind of what my situation was, because I didn't really argue with him at all. But he was talking about how videos like this are like slander, and that there's so many of them that they have to take down a day, even though the positive reviews of the movie are left up. So I again, this is a situation where I totally could have fought this. I absolutely could have, but I didn't want to have to explain things to him. I've been busy all week. I'm in pre-production on a movie. I'm tired. This, I just wanted to go away. So the slander thing was like, what? Anyway, so the next morning came by, and the strike was still on the account, so I wrote him back and said, hey, look, the strike is still on the account. Did you remove it at all? Because the times in the past that I've had to have a strike removed from an account, it's gone away instantaneous. When the person retracts it, like the midnight screenings for The Man from U.N.C.L.E., once it was realized that a mistake had been made there, it was instantly retracted. This case, the next morning, it was still there, so I emailed the guy back and said, hey, I took this down, can you maybe retract this strike? And he wrote back and said, like, oh yeah, I guess that takes time, like, maybe it'll be like a few weeks, or I don't know, one guy I talked to, it took like a month. I'm like, that doesn't... I don't think this guy is very good at his job, or really knows that much about YouTube, or the kinds of videos these are. Man. But shortly after that, the strike was removed. Pretty quickly after that, honestly. And if you watch Hugo and Jake's video, I'm wondering how close the timing lines up with the videos getting resolved, because they went through a similar thing with when can this be retracted, the strike is still there, and then the guy getting into a pretty heated argument with him, causing Bible Reloaded to send him a tutorial on how to remove strikes, and then their strike was immediately removed. And I'm wondering if the timelines kind of sync up a little bit, because they got their strike on a matter of faith like a few days, I think, before I got mine on second glance. But then the best part of this is I got an email from Dave Christiano, the co-writer and director of some of them. He co-wrote like Crime of the Age, Second Glance, the Pretender. He directed The Pretender. So Dave Christiano wrote to me, and honestly, super nice guy. This is another thing that actually Hugo and Jake say in their videos, in their video too. Really nice guy. He didn't have to write to me at all, but he did. Maybe he's a big Lloyd fan. Who knows? So, come here, Bubba. Come here, buddy. So, he wrote to me. At first, I think he thought that I was Bible Reloaded, because he thought that I reviewed Matter of Faith, which is the one that they did. So I had to tell him, I had to send him a picture of Lloyd first. Go on, buddy. Go on. And anyway, I had to write him back, and I said, oh, no, I play this character called the Cinema Snob, and I gave him a rundown of the show. I said, the strike for me was on Second Glance, and he said to me in his first email, like, put yourself in my shoes, you produce movies, and video of it goes on YouTube, what would you do, or something like that. And I wrote him back and I said, well, I've got movies on DVD, I've produced a bunch, I've directed 5, written 7. I said I have had to deal with people putting our entire movies on YouTube, but reviews and stuff like that, no, not at all. There's reviews on YouTube of most of our movies, honestly, and my God, considering what I do for a living, I would be the worst kind of hypocrite if I if I did a DMCA takedown on that shit. So we wrote back a couple of times, and he was talking about the making of Crime of the Age, and that he's kept in touch with a lot of the actors, and he said he saw a little bit of the Crime of the Age episode that I did, and he was really complimentary towards the title, towards Sean. He was towards Sean Millington. He was really complimentary towards the title card. He said that's a really nice title card. It makes me want to do an animated Crime of the Age movie. And my God, do I want to see that? My God, do I hardcore want to see that? And even the next day, he still checked in to make sure the account was still good and everything. And I did ask if the episodes I did, if they could be put back on YouTube. And the answer was, it wasn't a no, but it was vague. Like, vague enough to where I didn't feel... If I only did one movie of theirs, like say I only did Second Glance, I would actually probably feel comfortable putting it back on YouTube. But considering that I've now got 3 episodes that are from there, I don't know what the deal with this outsourced guy is. Like, the last thing that I would need is 3 strikes. Like, 1 strike alone is a headache enough to deal with. Even if you get it resolved quickly, like I did, it got resolved fairly quickly, it's still a headache. And dealing with then 3 strikes that would terminate your account and going through that, oh man, it's just... I'm fine with them just now being on Screenwave, only being on Screenwave. And in the future, I'm still totally down with talking about more Cristiano Brothers movies. I really am. They're really fun episodes to do. I doubt they'll be on YouTube, but if you want to see the episodes we did, The Pretender, Second Glance, Crime of the Age, go to our site, or go to Channel Awesome. You can go to channelawesome.com or thecinemasnob.com. This week I put an older episode of The Snob on YouTube, the one for Little Red Riding Hood and the Monsters. And that's a few years old, so it was back when I was shooting Snob episodes in SD, and there were a couple of comments that were like, why is the quality so bad? And I had to write, why is the quality worse than usual? And I respond like, it's a few years old. It was shot in SD. Sorry. So that's what I did this week. And you may have known, and this is kind of a separate issue, you may have noticed that if you go to the site, if you go to thecinemasnob.com, the videos aren't embedded on there anymore. It's just a picture, and then it takes you right to the YouTube page for you to watch the video there. And there's really the only time I ever really use Screenwave is when something like this happens, like with Second Glance and the Cristiano thing, because when one of our videos is embedded on our site, the ads don't play. And I started noticing this the first time I started using Screenwave. Now, the ads work when they're on Channel Awesome, like for Crime of the Age, and the ads are fine on there. But so I remember having this back and forth with Screenwave, and the damn ad agencies kept refusing to put ads on our site because they're under the impression that it's a porn site. Jesus. So, talking to dude from Screenwave's like, okay, the ad agency contacted back, they want this image removed, and it was like Jillian with the big box photo of her chest. And so I'm like, okay, so I changed the icon on that, and it's since been changed back, but I changed the icon on the big box. And then there was something with Softly from Cable they wanted taken down, so I did that. And then it just turned into like, well, they're still afraid to put ads on the site because like they're afraid something else might pop up. I'm like, what is even happening? There's no porn on the site. Like, and seriously? Like, oh yeah, like Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust, all that. But totally fine, but God forbid, like, picture of someone's chest with a big box VHS tape next to it. Oh yeah, that's right up there with just taking it up the ass with a fist. So I just gave up. Like, on, like, okay, I guess ads just aren't going to play on the site anymore. So, that's why it links over to Channel Awesome, and that's honestly why the YouTube videos link over to the YouTube page as well. Plus, I mean, it gets people over to the YouTube page so they can subscribe and everything. It honestly really doesn't bother me. There's still plenty of people who comment on the site. There's still plenty of people who go to the site. So, really not that many people have complained about it. Honestly, maybe only like a few. So that's an entirely different issue. I think the only thing that would really resolve that issue is like completely redesigning the site, or even like maybe changing the site's name. I'm not, like I said, there's so much stuff I'm working on now between a movie and other things. I don't even want to even think about going through another site redesign or anything like that. So, you know, videos will just link over to YouTube. Fine. That's my story about the copyright strike getting resolved. This was kind of an impromptu video, which is probably why I'm a little stuttery and whatnot in it, because I wasn't sure what I should say and what I shouldn't say. So it's all been resolved. The site, the YouTube page is back to normal, and all that good stuff. What a weird week. See ya.